I wanted to talk to you today about how I see people pass on to the next world, so the other side. It's interesting that we don't really know a lot about this, and people have had near death experiences and have come back and talked to us about these amazing fields, these amazing light fields, I'll say, that are full of love and all encompassing, and they talk about their experiences of moving through a tunnel or flying. And I know that's only a small piece of what happens. So I wanted to share with you what I've experienced and what spirits have showed me what has happened to them. So it's different depending on how people pass, because if somebody passes very quickly and it was unexpected, there's as much care put into that as anyone's passing. But on the earthly side, there's not as much preparation for the person who passes quickly in the sense of their awareness. So there's a lot of preparation on the spirit side, but in their awareness, they may not see it coming. You may notice that throughout your life you've met people that seemingly knew something was up. They gave away their things, or they apologized to people that they had been holding grudges, or they sold their house or sold everything. You may have had these experiences or heard these stories, and so on a subconscious level, I would say some people know, but they don't really know. And on the spirit side of things, or the angels or guides, uh, they are prepared and ready. They're ready to catch you if anything was to happen. But what I want to talk about is sort of what happens when you know somebody is not well, and when you know that they're ready to pass anytime. They're prepared within their human self. They're getting prepared. What happens, and what we might even observe some of this, is our loved ones start to maybe become a little vacant. Maybe it almost looks like sometimes you're talking to them, they're engaged, you have eye contact, and then they kind of trail off, or they look off and they don't respond to your questions, or they seem a little distant, or they're not really listening, or maybe there's not a lot of emotion in the responses. And so we start to see this with some people as they're moving closer to their passing. And it can be sort of like, I like to think of it like the soul or the spirit energy of the person, the life force energy, is practicing kind of moving in and out of the body, and what that looks like and what that feels like, to prepare for the time when they do leave completely. And a lot of things hold people back. It can be fear, it can be love, it can be guilt, responsibility. And so some spirit, they do kind of really practice this and take their time. And we know that we can see that sometimes when people are ready to pass, they get certain things happen to their physical body. So some people observe like a rosy glow. So some people get this like pink in their cheeks and they just look totally alive. And you think, oh, my loved one's getting better. And then the next day they quietly pass. That's just one example. But this is like their spirit and all their life force energy coming forward to help them with this beautiful transition. And death really is quite a beautiful transition. It's a rebirth into the next phase of our life. And we don't just disappear. Our consciousness stays in complete form. So you might see your loved one get really bright and have this amazing like brightness in their face and their eyes and rosy cheeks and all those things. And then the next day or the day after, they pass. And that is what it is, just the energy coming forward to help them with the passing. You might also experience with your loved ones that they begin to see things and talk about things that they never did before. So you may be talking to your loved one, and they may see their mother that has passed on many years ago standing in the room, or an angel, or another spirit. And sometimes, because they're seeing all kinds of things, if there's fear involved, they can talk about things that seem a little off or seem a little scary. But not to worry, our loved ones are always protected and always safe in this journey. So then when the actual passing happens, some people say things like they could feel the energy of their loved one leave the body, or they feel like all the air is sucked out of the room. It can be quite dramatic. For somebody like me, if I am with somebody who's about to pass, sometimes spirit uses me as a conduit to come through my physical form, my energetic form, to help that person cross over. And so again, working as that kind of bridge so that they can actually get here energetically to help their loved one. So you may see something within your loved one that is kind of, you're not sure about it, you haven't seen it before, or you don't understand it. And this is all the body letting go of the energy, but also the energy collecting and coming into awareness of where they have to go. When this happens, loved ones often past loved ones will step forward and help their loved one cross over. So they'll come forward and sort of reach out a hand and say, come with me. And then what happens next is sometimes up to the spirit's perception. So sometimes it's up to their own perception, what they believe, what it should look like to cross over. In my own experience, I don't know if I can explain it as a near-death experience. Nothing physical happened to me, but I asked if I could see the other side, if I could experience that, because I really wanted to be able to help my clients more, and I really wanted to understand what was happening. So in my own experience and my own perception, I had the experience of flying, rushing over treetops and through the sky. And then I had the sensation that we were standing in the forest in front of a cabin, a very rundown cabin. And the cabin door swinged open, and there was a lady inside who was rushing to prepare for us, rushing to prepare. And after spending some time with her, and she was like not ready, and we had to kind of calm her down and say, it's okay, take your time. And so when we were ready, she opened the door to the other side, and we crossed through this door. And I say we because my guide was with me, helping me. We crossed through to the other side, and this overwhelming joy, love, peace, stillness just washed over me. And I could feel all the loved ones all around me, all my loved ones keeping me safe, all my loved ones protecting me, all my loved ones who had been waiting for me, missing me and waiting for me to come see them. And that was the feeling. It was like, where have you been? You haven't come to visit us in so long. And I saw a line of souls that were waiting to come back through the portal that I had walked through. And they were all looking just like light forms. So you could see like the head, shoulders, light forms, and they were all light forms all lined up, and then gradually taking on some physical features to come back through this portal. So very interesting observations I made after when I was in the experience. Was very much just enjoying being there and enjoying the energy of it, and seeing the thousands and thousands of light beings almost standing on hills, heads and shoulders of light, with extending love and extending care towards me, and protection, of course. So I was watching all these souls come back through the door, and eventually it was my time to come back through. So I went back through the door, and my experience was complete. And so that's my experience with seeing as much as I could see of the other side and still be alive and here talking to you. But I see that souls, their loved ones come forward, they offer their hand, they make sure that they come through the energy shift into the place where they have to be energetically, because it's like a different level, we'll say. And they're preparing them. And some people feel this, some souls feel this as traveling very fast through a tunnel towards a light, and all those things can absolutely happen. You absolutely are traveling to a place that is not very far away from here, actually, but energetically there's a big gap between here and there. So they have to readjust in this light and get used to it. Once they are comfortable and they've come into the light, the next thing that happens to many souls is they have a life review. So they get to go through their life and feel all the things that have happened to them throughout their life, and all of the conversations, experiences, relationships. If they have been a person who's caused great joy, they will feel joy during their life review. If they've left love behind, beautiful, like love that they've extended and made people feel good, they will feel all those things. if they have caused some pain, if they haven't lived a life, if they haven't lived the life that maybe we would have liked to see them in, or they haven't lived a life that we perceive as positive, when they do their life review, they feel the emotions. They feel the emotions of the people that possibly they may have hurt. So they can feel it, so they can know how you've felt, so they can change. And really, there's no judgment on the other side. There's nobody standing there saying, don't do that. Don't feel that. You shouldn't have done that or this. It's not what we've been taught. It's not, there's no judgment for you living your life the way you do, but you end up being your own judge. You end up being in control, like sort of the locus of control of your own experience. And that can be a lot of responsibility. So once we do this life review and we feel everything that we have extended out to other people in our lifetime and all the things that we have done and said, and we have this kind of sense of where we stand in our life, then we have options. So some people have traumatic lives and they need to be kind of cared for and carefully cocooned. And sometimes it takes some time for the spirit and the soul to recover from a life. So that is an option, sort of like therapy or rest. Once the soul is rested, then there's another option. There's the option, sort of like if you want to level up to this wonderful energy and keep moving forward, the option is there for you. And you can absolutely move forward in your spirit self and progress as you heal, as you forgive, as you love. And there's options on the other side. I see spirit, they take on roles. So they can decide, do I want to plan a life and come back and reincarnate? Do I want to wait for my loved ones to see them before I come back? Do I want to be a spirit guide for them? Do I want to take on some kind of other role here on the other side? Because there are roles. That's a whole other video. But there's training for them available, and help to do better, so that when they come into the next life, the things that they struggled with, maybe they won't struggle as much in the next life. You know, there's a sort of a calculating part, you know, where they can see the checks and balances. Where did I miss out? What more can I do? What can I do in the next life to be even better? And this life is really all about soul learning and involvement. And so for them, once they come into all their awareness, everything they are, all the past lives they've had, they have all their energy available to them, all their spirit in a sense is complete. Then it's easier to make decisions about what to do next. And some souls just decide that they need to rest. And again, there's no judgment. There's nobody saying you have to do anything. There's no timeline. So it's up to them. And a lot of times people don't understand that their loved ones have actually kind of pushed them gently to come see me, because they can then hear from their loved one that their loved one's okay, their loved one's well looked after and protected, but also maybe their loved one is doing something they always wanted to do. Maybe their loved one in spirit is traveling the world, seeing the sights. Maybe they always wanted to be a veterinarian and now they're able to be with animal spirits all the time. So there could be that kind of feeling that comes from a reading, but also it just could be that they want to talk to you to get something off their chest, so that they can tell you how they really feel, so they can tell you that it's okay and they're okay. I hope you found this helpful. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can have a look below. I have the link posted for my free course, and that's 5 steps to develop your spiritual practice. See you in the next video.